Welcome back. Last class, I had students end with a reading on the French and Indian War. That's this one. And I had them annotate it for homework. I told them that they could annotate it however they chose, whatever style they decided was best for them. I gave them some suggestions on what to circle and underline and different techniques, but I told them that it was their own. I checked that while I had them add a layer of annotation about the effects of the French and Indian War. So I had them kind of search for a specific thing in the article, and then I went around and checked that they had annotated it and put that in my gradebook. So that's how we started. I had students share that with each other, and then I had them share with the class. We moved on from there to some images that we made some observations about. I found all of these images on the C3 Teachers website. This is a website that has a whole bunch of inquiry-related lesson plans. I find that they are very good, but also very dense. I cherry pick the parts that are good for me. For example, I cherry picked this graph. So I had students observe and write down at least 4 observations in their notebook. So I'm having them gather evidence. Okay, I'm trying to tell the story of what happened after the French and Indian War. A lot of students will notice here that the British debt increased significantly starting in 1750, which correlates with the French and Indian War. I put these into a PowerPoint, like here, and so you can see I just snipped it out. I did the same with this map. So you see this map, and on this one, so the first one I give them about 2 minutes. This one I'm going to say write down at least 5 observations from the map. So here they can see that the British took over a large portion of North America. I'm really just trying to get into some map reading skills, having them notice the colors, notice the key, notice the title, things like that. And we're trying to tell the story, like why this Indian Reserve in 1763, what was going on with that. Okay, so I have them make their observations, and then we move on to a piece of text that I ripped from a textbook, and now we're talking about kind of the background of the Proclamation of 1763. Okay, so this will kind of answer our Indian Reserve question. We talk about the Proclamation of 1763 and what were the effects of that. Primarily that the colonists felt like they were kind of being treated like children, where they weren't allowed to make decisions on their own without the British restricting them. So we get some background on the Proclamation of 1763, and then I also show them
1763.
Video, fast facts about the Proclamation of 1763 for learners who might do better with a video. Okay, so we talk about that. And then because I am trying to tell this story, the big question being, was the American Revolution avoidable? At this point, I ask students that question. Do you think, based on the information that we have so far, that the revolution was avoidable or unavoidable? With one class, I had students get up out of their seats, stand on one side of the room if they thought it was avoidable, and the other side of the room if it was unavoidable, and talk, give me reasons. It's early in the year. I'm trying to draw out their explanations, make them think on their feet, make them realize that this is a class where they are going to have to talk. Okay, so I'm asking this question, and then I'm moving on to this final reading, which is also from the C3 inquiry. It is a very short reading, but also a bit of a difficult reading. So I have students read it silently, and then I offer my interpretation of it by annotating it along with them. They can see this on the projector that I'm using with my dot cam. So I'm explaining vocabulary, I'm reinterpreting, I'm kind of translating some of the words, some of the verbiage, so that it's more understandable to a high school mind. After this, kind of my last question is, according to David Ramsey, was the revolution avoidable or unavoidable? And it's pretty clear, especially because he says that it was natural for these two forces, the British and the Americans, or the colonists, to be in conflict. He would say that the revolution was unavoidable. Then we are done. That's an 85-minute period. And we have covered French and Indian War, Proclamation of 1763, and we have started to kind of contextualize these events in terms of the American Revolution. If this lesson helped you, if you think you'll use any part of it, please give me a like, give me a subscribe, and we'll see you for a future video. Our next lesson will be on the Stamp Act. Thank you so much.